Hola! Today we're talking about the preterite of ER and IR verbs. So to connect this with what we already know about English, you use the past tense to talk about what happened or what you did. So most English verbs have just one form in the simple past tense. They use the example of to live. So the different forms of that would be I lived, you lived, they lived. In Spanish, verbs in the past tense have different endings for each person. Let's look at our different forms. Regular ER and IR verbs are different from regular AR verbs in the preterite tense. Let's start with comer, which is an ER verb. We can tell because it ends in ER. Comer means to eat. So in the yo form, we're going to replace that ER with our verb ending I with an accent, making it comí, to say I ate. In the to form, we replace the ER with iste to make it comiste, to say you ate. In the LA usted form, we have comió, to say he, she ate, or you in a formal way ate. In the nosotros and the nosotras form, we have comimos, to say we ate. In the vosotros and vosotras forms, we have comisteis, to say y'all ate. Remember, this form is only used in Spain. And then for the ellos ustedes form, we have comieron, to say they or you all ate. The to form is the informal way to say you, and usted is the formal way to say you. Looking at an IR verb, we have escribir, meaning to write. You'll notice that ER and IR verbs have the same verb endings in the preterite tense. In the yo form, we have escribí, to say I wrote. In the to form, we have escribiste, to say you wrote. In the LA usted form, we have escribió, to say he, she, or you wrote. In the nosotros form, we have escribimos, to say we wrote. In the vosotras form, we have escribisteis, to say y'all wrote. And ellos ustedes form, we have escribieron, to say they or you all wrote. And again, remember that to is informal and usted is more formal. So you want to make a note that the nosotros form of IR verbs is the same in the preterite and in the present tense. Right? It's imos. So what you need to do is look for clues in the sentence to help you know whether the verb is in the present or the past tense. Let's look at an example here. The example says, we received the prize yesterday. Or in Espanol, recibimos el premio ayer. Our clue in this sentence is the word ayer. The word ayer tells you that recibimos is in the preterite tense and not the present tense. We have a few more examples here. Let's go ahead and work on the first one together. So the sentence would be, I scored a goal. Well, if you look at your vocab list, you have a phrase for to score a goal, okay? And it works with the verb meter. Meter is an ER verb. We can tell because it ends in ER. The first thing we're going to do is actually take off that ER ending in order to replace it with the correct ending for our subject. If we look at the sentence in English, our subject is I, or in Espanol, that would be yo. Go ahead and look at the charts that you filled out. What is the preterite verb ending in the yo form for ER and IR verbs? It would be an I with an accent, and that makes this word now metí, meaning I scored. And go ahead and write the rest of that sentence. And you would get yo metí un gol. I scored a goal. Let's look at the next one. We received a prize. It's been a little while since we've used this verb, but received would be the verb recibir. It's an IR verb. How would we change recibir to say we received? Well, first, take off that IR. What are we going to replace that IR with? Imos, recibimos. Using your vocab list, go ahead and complete that sentence. So the full sentence there would be, nosotros recibimos un premio. Using your vocab list and using the charts that you filled out previously in the notes, go ahead and attempt to write these two examples in Spanish. Pause the video now. So our next one, we have the athletes drank a lot of water. So you should have come up with that. To drink is beber. So when we take off that ER, our subject is the athletes. It's more than one person. If we replace the athletes with a pronoun, we could say they. right? They drank a lot of water. So we're going to use the verb ending that says they drank, which would be bebieron. Putting that into our sentence, we have los deportistas bebieron mucha agua. The last one we got is the other team lost. Lost gives us our word perder. Perder is an ER verb, and we're going to take off that ER, and we're talking about the other team. Now, team is kind of like the word family. Even though it's made up of a lot of people, it's technically a singular noun. So we're going to use the LA at usted form here, which would make our verb perdió. So the whole sentence would be el otro equipo perdió. That is the end of the notes for today. If you got lost or I went too fast, go ahead and rewind and rewatch any parts that you need to. Adios!